I thought 5 years later that really the story would be getting a small bit old at this stage, but I suppose the lads keep pulling me back just to tell it. As I said, 5 years ago, I was only 23, and as I would expect in the prime of my health, I wouldn't have been a smoker. I would enjoy the night out alright like anyone else, and I would have been heavily involved in my local GA club at home in Cullen. I suppose I'll take the story back to the Thursday before we played our match at the weekend. And this was early in February, it was only a league game. And on the Thursday previous to it, I had been sent on a mission down to Newcastle West in Limerick. And I had recently taken over as secretary of the GA club. And one of my first things to do was go away and to price a defib for the club. Not many of the clubs in our area had them. So we'd, there was a couple of people on about it, so we said we'd go down and we'd price it anyway and we'd see how we get on. So I went down and it was €1,500 what I was quoted. And I scratched my head and I was there, geez, I don't know if we're going to be able to fundraise for this. €1,500 is an awful lot of money. And that was fine anyway. I went away to your man, I told him I'd get back to him, and that was fine. So the following Sunday, I travelled down to Castlemagner. Those of you that mightn't be familiar with it, it's between Kanturk and Mallow. And we're playing a league game against Castlemagner, and everything was going grand. First half it passed by, it was after scoring 2 goals, I was delighted with myself. And 10 minutes into the second half, things ended. I dropped through, didn't know what was after happening, I don't remember any of it, I just collapsed on the field. Luckily for me, there was 2 things I suppose that were really in my favour. One was Castlemagner were one of the very few clubs in the area that actually had a defib that had been sponsored to the club. And the second thing was, there was 3 fellas, 2 of whom were playing with myself on the same team as me, and another fella that was had come to watch the game from Cullen outside the field. The 3 of them knew how to do CPR. One of the lads had done it as a pilot programme with the Irish Heart Foundation. They had the transition year group were trained how to do CPR, and he was one of the people that was trained up to give other people training, I suppose, really in CPR. And he straight away he was playing, I think, wing forward or something like that at the time, so he was one of the closest fellas to me. And he recognised that there was something gone wrong. He thought maybe I'd gotten a hit or something off the ball, but there was no one standing next to near me. So he went over and he saw that I was going blue and that I wasn't breathing. And straight away recognised that, well, I was in a bit small bit of bother. So he decided to start on CPR. There was 3 of them there at the time, as I said. The 3 of them went at it, giving the compressions and the breaths. And luckily enough, as I said, Castlemagner GA Club had got a defib. And that one of the lads had said, oh, we've one of these things that gives shocks to people. And they sent them off straight away down to get it. And within 3 minutes, thankfully, I had been shocked. The boys continued on giving CPR for 20 minutes after that. Until the ambulance arrived. Luckily enough, Castlemagner, as I said, is close to Mallow, so the ambulance arrived on from Mallow. I wasn't aware of what was going on. I had no notion. I woke in the ambulance all right at one stage, and I was trying to pull the oxygen mask off me. I hadn't a clue what was going on. And one of the ambulance fellas working in the ambulance were laughing at it. The first thing I asked was, did we win the match? That's all I was interested in. I didn't worry about anything else, my own health or anything like that. It was, did we win the game? But I got to Cork anyway, in fairness, all credit to the guys that were the fellas driving the ambulance and the inside and the back and the guards. That the roundabout in Mallow closed off and it was just straight up into CUH. Within a day or 2 I was walking around the place. I was fine out the first day, alright, I was groggy, I didn't understand what was going on. I kept repeating myself over and over again, and my parents obviously were quite worried because obviously as someone that has been starved of oxygen for a while, you're likely to suffer from brain damage. That didn't happen to me, thankfully. At that stage, 5 years ago, I was in a 1% bracket of those that have survived a cardiac arrest outside of hospital. As you saw on the slide, 10%, a decrease of 10% for every minute that passes. The boys had me shocked within 3 minutes. So I was down to 70% at that stage, but I was okay to continue. Luckily enough, leading a healthy life, I'm a testament that, if you learn CPR and if you're able to give that skill to someone, that you could be the cause of them surviving. So I was very, very lucky in that way. I can't stress how important it is to be able to do it, because obviously I'm standing here because of it. the Irish Heart Foundation give great, great knowledge to people. As I said, George, one of the lads that was there, he learned from the Irish Heart Foundation, and plenty of kids throughout schools are learning it. And I was down in Guineavilla, a rural area in Kerry, just across the border from where I live, and they were just after training up 30 people inside in their area, because unfortunately one of the things with our economic climate at the moment is ambulance services are being cut, and the ambulance in Mill Street is gone. That'll be our local ambulance. There's one ambulance in Killarney, and outside of that you're talking about either Kenmare or Tralee. So you're talking about a very vast area, rural area, where there's only maybe 4 to 5 ambulances in that area. So it's important that people do learn the skills, because as we were saying, if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen to a loved one or a neighbour. So if you're able to give this skill of CPR, you're doubling their chance of survival. So it is extremely important. I was just lucky that the AED was there, but if the boys were able to keep going with the compressions, there was a good chance I was going to survive, even if it took another couple of minutes. So I'm not going to keep you any further. That's my story. Thankfully, I'm here to tell the tale, and probably be called back again next year to bore you all again for another few minutes with it. But I'd like to thank the girls there for inviting me down. I'd stress how important it is to sell the Happy Hearts and to make sure that this campaign is recognised and is promoted throughout the county and throughout Ireland, because it is so important. So thanks very much.